is a blast from the past. For some of you, it'll be reminiscent of the old days. And there's something really amazing about that song because it says everything that we represent here today. I'm glad for everybody that is here. We've got a full Zoom room, 100 participants. So if you've missed getting into the room, I'm sorry. You'll be able to hear this recording later. But there's a lot I want to talk about today. A lot of information that's coming through even as we speak right now. And I do want to, for all of you who are new to the Zoom environment, I just take a few minutes to go over some of our protocols here. If you look down at the bottom of your screen, if you move your cursor there, if you're using a regular PC or iPad app, there should be a command bar that appears at the bottom of the screen, which allows you to click on participants. And there you can see all the participants on the right side of the screen. And if you find your name, you can also look down on the bottom and it'll allow you to raise your hand if you have a question or a comment. Also, for those of you who have given recording rights, you can record now, or you should start recording if you haven't already. Also, there is a chat. If you go down to the bottom, there is a little chat box, which will also open up on the right side, and you can type comments in or read some of the messages from some of the other participants that are in the room. Okay, I think that's everything that I need to cover as far as Zoom is concerned. There's for all of you who've been following this, and I imagine all of you are somewhat somewhere down the rabbit hole. And if you've been following the case with Heather, you've found that there's a lot of developments that have taken place, and I'll just recap some of those. Heather has been in contact with the families. And it is very similar to the telepathic message that she gave last time, that they agree that this game that they've been playing really depended upon secrecy. And they realize that these choices that have been made recently, and a lot of them, quote unquote, and she mentioned this in one of her video updates, the original in them, the original source, essence within them, will purposely cause them to make mistakes, blunders, to basically fuck things up, to reveal themselves. And this is what's been happening all across the board with their vaccination program, with their pushing for World War III, with their all of the Agenda 21 stuff, even the chemtrail stuff. Somehow, some way, with whether it's WikiLeaks or someone's blowing the whistle, someone left a document, or someone sent an email that they weren't supposed to, which opened up this whole big can of worms. This is very similar to what's going on. And those families realize that they can no longer operate in secrecy. They can no longer because in order for them to continue to doing what they're doing, it would require a relatively asleep population. And I can tell you right now, we're over 10 million strong. That's just the people who are aware of this case. Now you think about that and what that means. So they have asked, we would like to make different choices. Now, last Monday, a week and a day ago, I told all of you to express yourself. And as I said, they were listening. They're direct, and they're listening also today. They always keep an eye on these calls, and there's always some sort of representative from several of the different alphabet agencies that are listening in on this call. And unprompted, all of you showed remarkable compassion and the desire to move forward. There is no real retribution and things like that. And I tell you, and I say this to a lot of my talks and discussions, a healthy, healed person does not want to hurt anyone. A healthy person does not want to punish anyone. And those who feel that, well, they need to pay and they need to do this and do, obviously are still in pain, which I understand. I understand because I've been there. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to wake up to a world that you didn't think existed. I know what it feels like to have your whole paradigm completely pulled from underneath your feet, you know, and to understand, and I want to talk to you a little bit, and actually so you can understand the meaning behind, and I'm going to remove some of the illusions and some of the presumptions that are being made. I know a lot of people are trying to give advice on how you can do this and how you can do that. I'm going to tell you something that you may or may not believe, but is nonetheless true. There is no current operating authority on this planet. There is no hierarchical structure other than each being's free will. I'm going to repeat that again. There is no authority operating on this planet. There is the color of law, and that's all that exists. For those of you who don't understand what the color of law is, look that up in your legal dictionary or on your on Google, and you'll understand that all of it was an illusion. The existence of these accounts. Think about this, and please try to use a little bit of logic and think a little bit. The existence of these accounts, what does that mean? Number one, it means that there is no financial crisis. So all that bullshit you've been seeing on the news about we're in this much debt and blah, 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 was nothing more than that but bullshit. And that's what it was. All of that things that you see on the news, majority was bullshit. And because if there is no economic, then all these are just lies. From the lie that they're telling you that the accounts don't exist, they can't pretend anymore. And if you follow logically, if all of that stuff is not true, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means, and this is one of the things that I tell my friend Chris all the time. The whole problem with the quote old powers that be is they document everything. There's nothing that they do that you cannot find in writing somewhere. How did we figure this out? Because we looked for it. Those of us who realized that something was not right, something was not going on. And for a long time, for many, many years, these original filings that were done in 2000. That's 17 years ago. And for all that period of time, truthers, or whatever you want to call them, we've been labeled so many different things, have been basically called conspiracy theorists, laughed at, you're foolish if you believe that there's an account and blah, 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 until now, until this moment of now. And now over 12 million of you have mysteriously found your accounts and have accessed them. So what does that mean for the powers that be, or the powers that were? It means that the ruse is up. It's over. And for those of you who are worried about this movement being, derailed, never before have we been so unified. Never before have we had so much information, so much data available to us than we do right now. There's never been a time before where all of us have actually realized where the true value and where authority comes from. I want to tell you a little story, a metaphor, if you will. And this story revolves around a young person, and we'll call him or her, depending on how you imagine, it doesn't really matter, Jermaine. Now, Jermaine, he didn't have what you would call a silver spoon in his mouth. As a matter of fact, he grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, what a lot of people would consider the poorest sections of the neighborhood. He didn't have the benefit of two loving parents. You know, he was raised by a single mother. You know, his father spent most of his time in prison. And for the most part, most people never imagined Jermaine would ever amount to anything. As a matter of fact, he did very poorly in school, and the people basically called him Germ and treated him like he was a disease. They cast him out. He wasn't what you would call purebred or anything that they would consider of value. And this Jermaine, he spent his whole life in similar circumstances, always being ridiculed, always being reviled. But all of those others who treated him so poorly, and others like him, and called them germs, these people, after many years, realized that their system was falling apart. They could no longer interact and trade because all of their products and all of their the quote unquote gems that they used to buy and sell, nobody wanted anymore. And there was nothing for them to do. And they were looking for solutions, and they were looking for answers. And then some beings from a distant land came and they made a proposition. They said, we want your brightest, right? Your most talented, strongest, and most profitable people. And then we will be able to use them and exchange with them. So they gathered together and they got their greatest minds, their greatest scientists, and they were turned down left and right. No, we're interested in your germs. We're interested in the ones who have lived and figured out all of these problems that you're experiencing right now. They've dealt with their whole lives. Surely, if anyone has the answer, it's them. Now, Jermaine can represent any single one of you. Jermaine represents all of humanity, because I can tell you this, and you might not. A lot of people are awakening to the fact that in the universe, in our galactic community, humans were considered germs, parasites. You know, the root of all evil comes from Earth. That is an actual saying, you know, amongst some peoples. But it is our ability to endure, our ability that turned that piece of coal, that lump of coal that was thrown away, into the diamond. That's where each and every one of us stand right now. And it's very important for you to realize, even though you believed you were poor, that was not true. A lot of the things that we believe to be true, we're going to have to put aside. We're going to have to put aside for right now, because obviously the reality of the situation is proven to be something different. And when you are given absolute proof, when you see something that you've never experienced before, you will do one of two things. You will either embrace it or you'll become fearful of it. And I've seen both reactions, because this has never been done before. But I'm going to try, and all of us who, and I would consider every single person that's on this call right now would be what I would consider first waivers. You are the brave ones, right? The old souls. all of you old souls who are here and listening to this right now, it's up for each and every one of us to help move the rest of mankind out of fear. Fear is what causes you to want retribution. And I can tell you, this is not the first time we've been through this. From the time of Jesus, when he threw the money changers out, to the time of Atlantis, to the time of Lemuria, all of this is all revolving around the same theme. And every time we sought retribution, every time, that was the point it failed. If you don't remember this, I'm going to try and jog your memory, because that's the way it's always been. And this is one of the things that's really important for us right now. Because without the pressure on that piece of coal, the diamond is never formed. You came here not to enjoy paradise. You came here to advance your consciousness. And nothing advances your consciousness faster than suffering. Literally. And once you get beyond, and I'll give you a clue, suffering is a perception. It's a complete mental thing. It's something that we do in our consciousness that allows us to feel as though we are victims. But honestly, there's certain things that don't coincide with what we assume to be true. If free will exists on this planet, then why would we come here if we did not know and have that free will choice to do so? At some level, we must have. At some level, and you might ask, well, because very few people remember what life was like before they were born. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why you don't remember. And that is part of the whole contract of coming here. So by agreeing to come here, we agreed to all of it. All of us. And I'm not just talking about the germs. I'm talking about all of us agreed to be here. All of us agreed to play the roles that we were playing. Otherwise, the game would not be fun. I want you to think about this. How many of you have ever played solitaire? And if you've played solitaire, how would the game go if you knew every card that came up before it came up, you knew the outcome of every shuffle, and you knew the outcome of every game before it happened? How long would you play for? You wouldn't play very long, because it would be boring as hell, right? But what if you blinded yourself? Okay, I can know everything, but I'm not going to know the order of the cards. I'm going to keep that from myself, right? And so then you can shuffle the cards, and it's always a surprise. It has a different feeling. Now you can play solitaire for a little while, and actually occupy your time for a bit. But even then, that gets boring. So then you say, well, what if I had more players, and only they knew what was in their hand, and I didn't know what was in their hand, and they didn't know what was in mine, and it goes on, and this self-blinding goes down and down and down and down and down until you master each version, until he's like, what if I forgot if I didn't know nothing and I played the same game? That is the ultimate game of Earth. That's what you're here. And the reason why as we're moving into this Lion's Gate, because there's a lot of things that are going on that you need to be aware of behind, and it has more to do than it's not just money. Money is a representation of your energy. And this period of time that we're going through is when mankind awakens to their true selves, to their true potential, and to their true value. And there is more to you than you've ever imagined, or at least that you've been told about yourself. So each and every one of you that came to play this game, and I don't know if any of you are out there are actual gamers, but you were the best of the best in all of the universe, of all the universal games that have been played, because never before has there been a game played where every single one in the game suffers the amnesia, the wipeout. You know nothing. You come completely blind. And in that, even in that state, you have managed to wake up and to realize and understand and actually win a game that was aforesaid to be unwinnable. That's what's going on right now. And all of the players, you know, just like see a play or some sort of drama, there's the villains, there's the heroes, there's the cameo appearances, all of them working on stage to present a story and to give the audience an experience, a slice of life, if you will, right? But at the end of the play, the heroes, the villains, the cameos, all of them stand on stage and bow together. All of them have and go to the same party afterwards. And that's what we are inviting, and we're hoping that we can move into gracefully without this, you know, without, because what would it be once you realize that this was all just a game? Once you realize that all of this illusion was all make-believe, and it really was, you know, it was all make-believe. Once you realize that, then a lot of things change, because no one was really harmed. It was all played out for a reason, for a certain experience. And we can go into that, and that has lots of alchemical and spiritual of connotations, but I'm not going to go into all of that. It's just very important for you to understand what is really going on here, more than just money. Now, money is involved because we're moving out, but this whole transition is to move away from money. And if you haven't figured that out, because money was never the problem. Money was never the problem. The problem was the separation, the perceived separation that we had with each other. Now we are coming together in a unified way. And Heather talks about this, how even though we don't realize it, we're all coming together around the same issue. We all are coming to the same realizations. This is the 100th monkey in effect right now. So I can tell you that they are making different choices now. I can confirm this. Some people are starting to experience different interactions with their banks now. I don't know if Adam Levine, are you there? I'm going to allow you to I'm not sure if you're there.
I'm here, Bob.
Adam, I think your story of what you've done with the last couple transactions with your bank really amplifies how things are changing. Do you mind recounting briefly your experience with the 2 checks that you deposited?
Sure. Well, briefly, to make a long story short, I deposited 1 check from my trust account, and it went through. It was $9,450. Went through without a problem. They did put a bank hold on it because they said that it was an unusual amount for that account. That account I hardly used. Besides the fact, moving forward, um, it cleared and I took some money out. Not a problem, no questions. In fact, the bank spoke to me even higher, more highly, involving investing and stuff of that nature. Then continuing forward, I deposited a larger check, in essence, which caused a little bit of an issue for 255,000. The bank decided to put the same hold on it. I think was a 5 or 7 day bank hold. It's still cleared though within less than 24 hours. That being said, it was in my account, and I figured, okay, wait the 5, 7 business days, and when that time came up, I went to the bank and I wanted to see that the money was in there. Um, in talking to the bank, they said, well, there's now restrictions on my account. I can't use any of it, but the money is in the bank. So I went back and forth, and actually today, about 4 plus hours, and you and I spoke a couple times during that also. The bank is saying that the money's in my account. It was transferred from my trust account, and the bank itself put a restriction on. I have actually everything audible recorded, and I told the bank that I'm recording them, which made them very, very upset. And they really didn't want to continue the conversation. I continued to push forward, so they still understood being recorded. And they actually verified, no, there's no problems from the trust account at all. They did not receive anything saying to give the money back. They did not receive a text message, a voicemail, an email, or even camel-driven letter. Nothing to the sort. The money is in my account sitting there. So, long story short, as I said, they have 24 hours. The legal department in Chase is going to get back to me hopefully tomorrow and say that the money's in my account and I can use it, and or they want me to wait till the 16th, and then they're going to close my account and just cut me a check. But I don't think I missed anything. Did I miss anything?
Yeah. In particular, I wanted to hear a little bit about some of the arguments that you made. What became visible and became absolutely obvious to not just the bank teller but the legal department, when you continue to press on.
Well, when I continued to press on, a couple things happened first after depositing the check, the smaller one and the larger one. Nothing would show up like as if anybody else deposited a check and looks online, they see a picture of their check. Nothing ever showed up in my account. It did show the routing number and the account number and that it cleared, but it would still not show a picture. In speaking back and forth with the bank, they did not understand why that was. They actually blamed it on maybe the system error. Um, Yet they all agreed that the money was in the account and that there's no problems with the checks, but the bank has put a freeze on it because of, they're saying actually because of the large amount. And if it was a smaller amount, there wouldn't have been a problem. But
Well,
they still are understanding it's my check and my money.
I know for a fact that all the banks have been notified by the Federal Reserve that these supposed accounts are a scam and they don't exist. So when your bank processed and saw that the transaction actually went through and you got them to confirm that the funds were actually remitted and in your account, it caused a conundrum for them because someone is obviously lying. You know?
That's exactly it. The funds are definitely in my account. I verified that numerous occasions with them on the phone. And as I said, I recorded absolutely everything in numerous locations. So no matter what, and I'm going to get you a copy, it's going to be public knowledge, this information. And I'm going to win. As I informed them numerous times, in recorded, I said, look, I've already won because when I went to the bank, I furnished them with my fractionalized trust document. I also gave them a copy of the check that came out from the ATM machine that their machine printed for me. just in case they couldn't find the check because I couldn't see it in the system, nor could my banker or anybody else I spoke to at first. The check doesn't exist, so it did clear, but there's no check. So besides that, I also gave them a copy of my Social Security card to verify that it's me, and I gave them the Electronics Transfer Act. God forbid they don't know what that is. And there were a couple of people I spoke to in the fraud department that did not know what it was, but I enlightened them quickly, and I told them, well, the 10 days are up. So with all due respect, you already overstep your bounds. The legal department just asked for 24 hours. I did tell them that, God forbid they don't do the right thing tomorrow, my lawyer will be bringing them to court, to federal court, and I just want 3 times my damage, plus anything else that the electronics trust document specifies that I'm due, my time and everything else. So, I do encourage everybody else. You just have to stand up for what's yours and don't accept no, because they're very quick to push you down and say, well, we're going to send it back to the originator. Well, I'm the originator, and I told them, this is my check, it's my account, and you don't have any right to do anything besides what I tell you. All you guys are is a clearinghouse. Don't try to be anything else, because you're not going to win. In federal court, you're a clearinghouse, and do your job. Give me my money.
Kudos, Adam. Awesome. I see a couple of hands raised, so I'm going to, who's that? Sandra Moore, you have your hand raised? Your mic is muted, just so you know.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I have heard about this about three weeks or so ago, and I have spent hours and hours and hours trying to find the correct routing number, because every one that I have used in trying to set up a account at my bank has been basically denied. It keeps telling me we're unable to add this account. It says this account is not valid for bank-to-bank transfers and payments.
That may be a problem with your bank and not necessarily with your account. There's certain, and if your bank is not allowing, there's certain payment systems that do not have the Federal Reserve routing numbers in their database.
Well,
So it doesn't matter, it wouldn't matter which routing number you use, it just wouldn't accept it.
Okay, well, when I first heard about this about 3 weeks ago, I found some kind of a chart with like A, B, C, D, the letters that's in red on the back of your Social Security card.
Correct.
My Social Security card, original one, was an E, and I couldn't find the routing number for an E. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna apply for a new Social Security card. So I did that. Now I have a new one, and it is a G. And for the life of me, I cannot find that chart anywhere. I have spent hours.
If you go to the IUV site, there's a lot of information that you could find there.
I did that, and I've even used some of the
or just Google Federal Reserve Bank routing number letters.
Okay, wait a minute. Google what now? Federal Reserve Bank
routing number letters.
Okay.
And it should find that same chart that you were looking at before.
Okay, so Federal Reserve Bank routing number letters.
Yes, and it's also, you can find videos on YouTube that will actually show you how you can search, and like just go, pay secret account you know, how to pay your bills online, you'll find 10, 15 videos, I'm sure.
I've watched so many videos and I have yet to find the one that helps with that.
Okay, again, if you're trying it at the same bank and all of them are denying you, it's probably a problem with your bank's payment system. It's just not going to use. You're going to have to find an alternative bank to work with or an alternative payment system to work with.
Okay, another question I have.
And could you just, I'm sorry, Sandra, could you just speak up? It's really difficult hearing you, and maybe get a little closer to your mic. Thank you.
I'm talking very loud.
Okay.
I'm talking right into my computer, so can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're just trying to be quiet.
Oh, another question I had is on the Real Truth call, they had a certificate of authority, and I filled out everything on it that I could, but up in the right corner in red
is the same number that's on the, that's a number from the back of your social.
Okay, back of Social Security. Okay, and then down on where it says estate trust, and it says I guess registration date. It says is that
that's the state filing number of your birth certificate.
State file number?
Yes.
On birth. Okay, and the file number, that is the file number on the birth certificate itself?
Yes.
Okay, on mine, it just has 3 letters. I mean, I'm an old woman, so maybe back then there were only 3, maybe, but is that correct?
No, it should probably incorporate the year of your birth somewhere in that number.
Okay, it doesn't.
There's then maybe you're not looking at the right document. But your birth certificate definitely has a filing or registration number.
It says file number and registration number, but the file number is only 3 digits.
No, well, what is the registration number?
I think it's like 4 digits or something. What I did today is I actually applied for a new birth certificate, a new certified birth certificate. I don't know if that will be any different, but like I said, I was born in 46, so I don't know if it's because the certificate itself is so old that it doesn't have these numbers that, you know, on this copy that I was trying to copy off of the Real Truth call.
I could barely hear you. I'm sorry.
I'm talking extremely loud.
But I don't think you're talking into your microphone.
Do I turn up the volume on my computer? Is that?
No.
I don't know how to turn up my mic.
What I would do, Sandra, is wait for your new documents to come in, and then check, because there should be a state file number.
Okay, and then down below where it says National Banking Association, about the middle of the page where it says cashier's check, certified check, and then
those are routing numbers that would correspond with your social security number and the letter on the back of your card. Those numbers are right there that you see there are for someone else. You would replace that with your routing numbers.
Okay, and is the routing number that we're talking about is the one that I will find at Google Letters, right? Routing
Yeah.
Routing letters.
Right. Federal Reserve Bank routing. Yeah.
And then it says e-check city routing number. Is that the same number?
For me, for mine, it's not. Some people, you have to look them up. And if I can't really walk you through how looking it up, because honestly, there are tons of videos out there that will show you how to look them up.
Do you know which video I would look at? Because I've looked at probably 20 of them on YouTube already, and none of them do.
Maybe somebody could post a video to help her in the chat.
And how do I access that?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if you were late coming. On the bottom of your screen,
Yes,
you can click on chat,
yes,
and that will open up the chat.
okay. Okay, and so somebody hopefully will put something up there.
They've actually put the whole chart there for you.
Oh, great, that's wonderful, I do see that. And then, oops. Okay, all right, well, I'll keep watching this chat, then hopefully somebody will post a video also that I can watch.
There have been hundreds of videos. I'm surprised you didn't accidentally stumble upon one.
I'm surprised.
Sandra,
Yes,
hi, this is Barbara. My husband was also born in 1946, and you will need to get a new Social Security number or card.
yeah,
It will have all your pertinent information relative to what you are trying to do.
I do have a new Social Security card. I just applied for a new birth certificate today.
So Sandra, if you look at the chat over on the right hand side, you can scroll up and look too, but you can also save the chat at the end of this. There are lots of people offering to walk you through all of this.
Oh, thank you so much. I can save the chat. How do I do that?
Yes, you can. We'll explain to you how to do it, and you'll be able to see. You'll be able to save it on your computer and pull it back up. Scroll down, and you'll be able to see all the people offering to help you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So you can save the chat. At the bottom of the chat screen, there'll be a little button that says more, and if you click on that, it gives you the option to save chat.
Okay, thank you. I just did that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Chad, you have your hand raised? Oh, you sound like a chipmunk right now.
That was fun.
I can hear you, yes, but you sound like a chipmunk on 1200 RPM.
I've never heard that before.
Chipmunk on espresso.
That's hilarious.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to mute you, Chad, because you sound like you just swallowed a whole bunch of helium.
Exactly.
And we're speaking at 1,000 miles a minute, so.
I know.
Sounds like Theodore.
That's exactly.
You might want to replug in your microphone or reset your sound settings. I'm not sure. Marie Suzanne, you have your hand raised?
Yes, I want to know the latest on Heather and Randy. If is his trial going on, or do we have any information?
Paperwork has been filed today to have the true bill, which is the indictment that's both against Randy and Heather, dismissed and canceled. The judge has not ruled on that motion as of yet, because it was just filed today. So
Awesome news, though. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Chad, we'll give you another chance. Nope, that didn't work. Nope, sorry. So you may have to reboot, or well, you won't be able to come back in, Chad. I don't know what's going on. If there's a way that you can
It's in his settings.
Yeah, but can you text?
maybe you can text your question in the chat.
Oh, good idea.
In the meantime, Smarty, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, what's up, Bob?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm all right, ready to kick this stuff into high gear. My questions were basically about the same ones the lady had about the the certificate of authenticity. That pretty much answered my questions. But I remember in the last video or the last audio, you were saying that it might not be needed. I was wondering if that's still the case.
Well, depending on the choices
Right.
made, and again, they know the time frame to make these choices. They've been given
Right.
an opportunity. So depending on the choices that they made, it may or may not be relevant.
Right.
I can't predict that, but honestly, that's just a matter of convenience. All you really need is a copy of your Social Security card. It has all the pertinent information. It's got the name of the account and it's got the number on the account. It's really all you really need.
Right. Well, what I did was I did my trust, got it notarized, and I took a photocopy of my ID with my Social Security card and put it on the back of the trust when I got it notarized. The factualized trust paperwork. I mean,
That'll work. That's fine.
okay. So I was thinking we might just do this one anyway, just in case certain with certain how you say companies or whatnot give us a hard time. We can use both, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
According to the law, as long as you provide a way for the financial institution to identify the name and the number on the account, that's all you need to do.
Right.
After that, they have 10 days to either process, recredit, or do whatever it is that they need to do, whatever investigation that they need to do.
Okay, so let's say someone did this, but they still haven't did the trust because they've been really busy. Does the 10 days?
It depends on each experience, Marty. If they give them a problem, or they ask, well, we've been asked to verify this account or whatever, then you provide whatever documentation. But nobody should be that busy. I can tell you that. Nobody should be that busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what I just told them to do is get the trust done and then resubmit the payment. That way it'll give you more time if it already passed. That's what I suggested anyway.
Well, you have 60 days after the transaction to provide that information, and after that information is provided, they have 10 days afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. We've got Chewed.
Oh, okay. So between.
Hi.
You're breaking up. Okay, so we're good within 60 days, and then after we do provide, they have
10 days.
My turn.
Chewed, yes, please.
Okay, hi. Okay, two questions. One, is there anybody working on making the Federal Reserve a bit more friendly?
Well, that's what all this is about.
Well, I know that, but I mean, like, I put in a payment to Fed loan, right? And I had actually copied and pasted the routing numbers. And I tried 3 different numbers, and Fed loan recognized them as not valid numbers. And this is the second payment I sent through them, because the first one was reversed. Right? Okay.
The first one went through and was reversed?
Yes.
That's the one you use.
Okay. So,
now,
all right.
I would send those documents under that, the reversal account. Whoever it was that reversed it will have 10 days after you provide those documents.
Okay. And does it matter which routing number that we put on
the one that worked?
No, I mean when we get checks printed.
Right.
Again, the one that worked.
Okay.
You
Okay.
use the one that worked.
Okay.
The one that they requested. You can't request a manual return unless the funds have been transferred.
Okay.
That whatever routing number you used where they asked for the return, that's the one that worked.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
No worries. Judy, you've got your hand raised?
Yeah, Bob, I'm just reading you Chad's question.
Okay, please.
So he said, I noticed in studying the factualized trust that Heather does not use the legal name. Can you talk about this?
Factualized trust, the legal name is listed there. On the next to last page, it tells you that those are the names of the account. And it properly identifies it as a Treasury Direct account. So that's the account name. It's the state name, and it is in the factualized.
Okay, he says, oh, okay.
Well, my kitty cat messed up the screen and they're both just.
Yeah,
Hey,
you'll find it all caps.
Doing this thing, even though
Suzanne Waslick. We can
Yeah,
hear you, honey.
could you? I'm gonna mute you, Susie. Okay, Naive, you have your hand raised. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. If that's what it's meant to say.
It's Nieves. If you think of your knee and Avis rent a car, Nieves.
It's spelled the same way as Naive. I'm just saying.
Nieves. It means snow. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great. Okay. So really, what we need to send out for the reversals will be the factualized trust, and that should take care of.
Okay. Yeah, the factualized trust, and yeah, and a copy of your Social Security card. That's really all you need.
Okay, and then they have 10 days to do an investigation.
Right.
From what I understand. Also, I had a question because I'm a naturalized citizen, so I don't have a birth certificate.
You still have
the United States.
You still have a certificate of report of birth, which also has a file registration number on it.
Yeah, I have a Cuban birth certificate in Spanish.
I have a German one.
I'm sorry?
I have a German one. They still all have file numbers on them. It may be different. It may be a little bit different, but somewhere on that document there is a registration date and a registration or file number.
And how would I use that, the birth certificate, if it's Cuban?
I just explained that to Sandra. I don't know if you were on the call at the time, but that's what's on the certificate of authority if you're using that document.
I need to put that information there?
Yes, where it says state file number.
And the certificate of authority.
If you're using that document. Again, you know, you don't have to use that. That's a document that I came up with a few years ago that I modified from someone else, actually. You know, as long as you identify the name, that you are the owner of that name and that Social Security number.
Right.
So, like, you know, a lot of people get strung up on documents. Oh, I need to use this form, and it's got to be 1044, and you got to sign it 45. You know, you're getting a little bit ridiculous. You know, all you need is to show the information. A lot of those, yeah, I just laugh at it because really, most of the work is already done for you by ACE.
Right.
The automated clearinghouse has done most of the work because it's already verified your name and the number and the amount.
Right, that's what I understood, that Heather had taken care of filing the UCC one. I'm new to this, so it's, you know, I've listened to the calls several times and read up information. She's taking care of all the paperwork, and all we really need to do is present the factualized trust once it's completed, and like you're telling me now, the Social Security card.
Right. And I can tell you, all of the Federal Reserve Bank, the board members, they are aware of everything that you're aware of. Everyone that they know what's going on with this case. They understand, and they're listening even right now.
Right.
So, you know, they
Hey,
understand.
Bring something to your attention now.
What's
The
at stake?
International Monetary Fund.
All right, we've got somebody who's.
International Monetary
Sandra,
Fund.
could you please mute your mic? I did that for you. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Chad actually thinks he's got his stuff worked out, so try him again.
Go ahead, Chad.
I hope this works.
I can hear
you.
Okay, great. Bob, I think it's amazing the attitude of Heather after what they've done. Her attitude just amazes me. Like, I'm 4 or 5 weeks into this. I've been listening to a lot of the previous broadcasts with Lisa Harrison and yourself and Brian Kelly and others and Danny. And this attitude of Heather's in going through this just amazes me. That's one thing I want to say. And I have a question. As I understand it, like calling from Canada, maybe the best way to proceed is with a bank that has trust in their name. What do you think of that?
To me, it really doesn't matter. And I've seen, you know, people say, well, as long as it's got America or CIS or whatever. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what they call themselves. It really doesn't, because they all follow the same code. They're all governed under the same commercial code. So, you know, one having this trust name or credit union or, you know, American whatever, it really shouldn't matter, because all of them operate under the same rules, or supposed to operate under the same rules.
Okay. Okay. Great work. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, the simpler, keep it simple. Do not try, you know, when you realize that honestly, all the forms that they're using were made up by them. And as long you can make up whatever form you want, and there's no way that they can contest it if it has the pertinent information. You know, there is no legal precedence which says that you must use this company form, you know, to make a statement. Anybody can make a statement. You know, it's not a you don't have to complicate. You know, they want you to think that the law is complicated. It's not. It's not. You put your choices down in writing, it's legal. You know, you put your free will choice down in writing, sign your name to, it's legal, period. I don't care if you wrote it in crayon. AJ, you have your hand raised?
Hey, Bob, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. I was on a call last week and I told you about my Xfinity, that it went through. I was on chat with them, and now they said that was reversed, and also the payment that I made about a few days ago was reversed as well.
Did you ask them why?
They said insufficient funds.
How was it insufficient if it had to be reversed? If the funds were there, don't let them play that game with you. That's a bull-faced outright lie.
Okay.
They cannot ask for funds to be returned that didn't clear. That's what the ACH is already for. Ask them, how did this transaction go through ACH if there was insufficient funds? It would have been rejected immediately. Don't play that game with me.
Okay. I'll give him a call tomorrow.
I have And that's why the Electronic Transfer Funds Act says if you have documentation that said that it cleared, that is prima facie as evidence that the transaction actually happened. And
Oh yeah, I got emails that says payment processed.
then ask them, are they going to follow this law, or are they going to make up a story and say that the funds didn't transfer? Because it was cleared through ACH. And according to the Electronic Funds Transfer Act, that wouldn't happen if the funds were not available.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Hey Bob, I don't mean to interrupt. How do people that are on the phone raise their hand?
*6, I think.
All right, thank you.
Brian, you have your hand raised?
Yes, I had a question about the factual trust, sending it out to the creditor. How do we go by doing this? Do we send it certified, making
If you
sure
have
they
a
have to
fax
sign it?
number, you could fax it to them, because that gives you a fax confirmation that they received it, or you can send it certified, registered. But I would try one of those two ways.
Either fax or certified?
If you have a fax number that you can send it to, or send it certified or registered now.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay. I have NAA Wagenschutz. Wagenschutz? Are you there? You have your hand raised. You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, my name's Anna, and I just don't know what happened when I typed it in setting up this Zoom, but anyway. My question is, initially, everyone said you look at the letter on the back of your Social Security card, to find your region, and then, find your routing number there. But now everyone is saying, your routing number should be the same as the beginning number of your social, should begin with the same number as your Social Security card, and use lesser banks. I mean, is that using a lesser bank better, or can we just do it the initial way?
I would say find a way that works. Lesser bank, greater bank, which payment services will work and which ones don't. Basically, I mean, at my bank, I literally, they required me to have an actual check, which I got one made for them from my trust account. Every place has different policies and different ways of handling. Some of them, don't even do ACH processing, but most of them do now. So I would say that you're not limited, and this is the whole idea. You should be able to access these accounts without limitation, because ultimately all the banks are tied into the same system.
Right, but my question was about, finding my particular routing number. Do I use the letter on the back of my card and then find one from there? And then a lot of people said, no, the letter on the back of your card has nothing to do with it.
Actually, the letter on the back of your card should tell you the routing number. I mean, that's how I found mine.
Okay.
And, thousands of other people have found it the same way.
Okay.
I know I've heard that there's also universal routing numbers that will work for everyone. I don't know. I found mine and the one that worked, and that's the one I've been using.
Okay, well, that was what I wanted to know, because I found it that way, but then a lot of people are saying, no, you need to go by if your Social Security number starts with a 4, then you need to find a routing number that starts with 04. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, I've not heard anything like that, but you know, the initial way is the letter on the back of your card.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other?
May I?
Who's that? Is that Jimmy?
Hi. My name is Jennifer. I just had a simple question to ask.
Okay.
In regards to, I saw a couple of videos by Eon Health Productions in regards to going straight to the Social Security Administration. One has a routing number, and then there's a Social Security credit union. And I'm having problems finding my routing number. I'm from the state of Wisconsin. That's where I
would not be able to help you. Again, I use a very simple process. You know, I'm not saying that there isn't an account at the Social Security Credit Union under you. Don't know, but I'm not familiar with that process, and I can't advise you. This is what you should or shouldn't do.
Well, anyway, I called up Telecheck to get it cleared, and I gave them the credit union's routing number and my account number. Not that I'm going to use it. I was just testing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the woman said before, are we supposed to use, you know, like my Social Security card starts with 1, and I've received numerous routing numbers for 01, but the back of my card is G.
Well, did the Telecheck verify those numbers?
She said they would clear in 7 days, that I would be able to use that account within 7 days.
Okay, so Telecheck did verify the account?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, fine. That's fine. Again, like Heather said, you have multiple accounts. I'm sure there's more. I mean, there's a lot of things that we haven't uncovered as of yet. But if you find an account that works, then as long as it's got your name and your number on it, that's fine.
Yeah. That was it. Thank you.
Okay. Jimmy Santiago, you have your hand raised?
Hi, Bob. How are you? Hello? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you. I'm doing fine.
Okay. Good. You guys are doing great work. And I just wanted to ask one question. This pertaining to Adam. I think that we could be making a mistake because I've been trying to write a check, but I think that when we write checks, like to deposit them, do you think that we need to put the Federal Reserve's address in that check with our name and caps, or should we put our own address with the name and caps? And I mean, I don't know
you want to put the banking institution's billing address.
That's clear. Maybe that's why it's not working for me now. Okay, that makes sense. Thanks a lot, Bob.
No worries.
Okay, have a good day.
Chad, do you have your hand raised again, or is that from before?
Yes, I have it raised again with a different question.
Go ahead.
Like I'm new, but I'm reading the Factualist Trust using the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. And tell me if I'm getting this. The Factualized Trust is about asserting, one of the things it's about is about asserting your ownership of the legal name. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Great. Okay, so I am getting it then. Okay.
And what you're doing is exactly what you should be doing. Verify, if you got a Black's Law Dictionary, and you'll find the power of some of those legal terms and why they were used. It's really,
I've just started, and it seems like a very powerful document that she's created. Very powerful.
It is very powerful.
Thank you.
Claire, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering when you said you got check, did you actually go to the trust and have them cut you a check?
You can cut a check. You can buy software
Uh-huh.
to print any check you want if you're willing to pay for the software. Yeah.
And when you say the banking institution address, would that be the Federal Reserve that I'm connected
If
to?
you're using a Federal Reserve routing number,
Yes.
I know there's lots of different routing numbers out there, but wherever your account resides would be the billing address.
Oh, okay. So I just have those checks printed up like that with all my stuff and their address and go for it then.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
No worries. Chud, you have your hand raised?
Yes. I've had time to contemplate what the future looks like for all of this. And interest rates, loans, and fractionalization, because that's the so-said monetary system, all that will become completely obsolete at some point, or will it?
It was all make-believe to begin with. There's no such thing as a loan. There's no such thing as a mortgage. That's all made up.
Okay. And the fractionalization, that because everyone's just kind of been, this is how business is done, so that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just have to argue that no longer is the process at all?
You really don't have to argue because it's already set up for you to use.
Uh-huh.
You know, use it as you see fit, just like any other bank account that you might have or open. Use it in the same way.
No, I understand that, but like in the long run of it all.
In the long run of it all, there will be an end to all money.
Right.
It become irrelevant.
Okay. That's what I thought too. All right, cool. Thank you.
You know, a money system can only be used for control. And most advanced civilizations in the universe, in the galaxy, don't have them unless they're under some sort of control.
Thank you.
No worries. And Niev, and that will be our last question because.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Yes, I wasn't done, but thank you. I was wondering because I lost my banking privileges a while back. And if I don't have a bank, how would I go about, transferring the money from the trust to a bank? And I think
you do have a bank. It's a Federal Reserve Bank, and you have an account number. You can Western Union using a routing number and an account number money from Western Union to any bank or any institution that you choose or person.
Okay, so if I don't have like a personal bank account in my area, like a bank that I use, because I have the bank from the Federal Reserve. So how would I transfer that money?
Use the routing number and the account number and the amount. Western Union allows for ACH transactions. So you can use that banking routing number, your account number, and whatever amount that you want to send. You can send it to yourself if you like.
Right. I actually ordered a Western Union card that I just arrived a couple of days ago, but I wasn't sure how to go about using that.
Yeah, just like any payment, automated payment system that allows you to add a bank as your payment method will ask for a routing number, an account number, and account name.
Right. Right. And I did that with a couple of payments already, which, were reversed. So my next step is the factualized trust, getting that to them.
Right.
But yeah, I was wondering how, because earlier in the call, I heard about the gentleman that, was deposited a check. And I was thinking, well, how do I get a check to deposit and to a bank?
Well, like I said, if you buy, you can purchase software. And I have heard other people getting checks by professional companies that would write the checks for them. I don't know, but if there's a will, you'll find a way. There's
Right.
definitely a way you can create your own check. There's
Okay,
software available out there that you can do that.
wonderful. And
Um,
I wanted
and,
to
go ahead.
I was just wondering, any updates on Heather and what's going on, if she's going to court, or when is she going to be out, or?
I gave an update earlier. If you go to i-uv.com, you can find the latest and greatest updates on Heather. I think there's a link right on the first page that says updates on Heather's case.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much, and thank you for getting these calls together. I look forward to them, and I'm glad I've been able. I was too shy to ask questions on the other call, but I made sure I raised my hand on this one. Thank you so much.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to. I know you said you only have one more question. I was wondering if you could fit me in real quick.
Who's that? Your name?
It's Armani. You said the press *6 to raise our hands. People on the phone calls. I know a couple people got to answer questions twice. I just wanted to ask a quick question for you. Is that all right?
Go right ahead.
All right. I'm fairly new to the this process and everything like that. My bank account's currently closed down, and it's because I drew up my own check and I used the routing number and my social security as the account number, and deposited it electronically. It went through, and then the next business day when I tried to access it, my account was closed. So I called in to ask what was going on. They basically transferred me to the fraud department and said that they contacted the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, which my account is being held at, and said that it was basically a fraudulent check that I drew up, basically saying that I couldn't draw up my own check and try to deposit it into
Then
the account.
at that point, I would ask them, why didn't the automated clearinghouse recognize it immediately as a fraud? How did the transaction go through?
Right. Well, they said that I needed I needed proof that the account was mine, and I said, well, I have a social security card. Is that proof enough? And they said, no. I basically need a bank statement showing that I have
the factualized trust and some sort of way to identify the account number and the name, whether you use a certificate of authority. That's what you need to send.
All right, thanks.
No worries.
I have a question as well, if you have a minute.
Excuse me?
I have a question as well. I'm on my house phone. Push the *6.
Okay.
Do you have a minute?
Go ahead.
On the certificate of authority, my regular birth certificate, but I was also adopted and have a different last name now. Would you suggest me putting my last name on now from the adoption, or
what's on the front of your social security card?
For what my social security card is? Okay.
What's whatever the name is on the front of your social security card?
Right.
Now, if you've had your name legally changed, you may want to get a new social security card under that name, just as a reference document.
So, okay, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Dog, I apologize.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. We're gonna end the call. One of the things that I want to highlight, a lot of times when you're dealing with, what you're calling your lesser banks, the people will be more cooperative if you tell them, hey, let me sign any document. I will hold you or hold the bank harmless, right, for any funds that don't clear. But if the funds clear, I want full access to them. It's that simple. A lot of them are worried about losing their jobs. They're also operating under a system that you are proving to them they've been told doesn't exist. So understand don't be belligerent when you're dealing with these people. A lot of them really don't know or are just finding out. So be patient and compassionate as much as you can. You will get a lot further. Take the time to understand your rights. Take the time to understand the law. It's worth billions to you to take that time. Somebody asked me a long time ago, and they said, if I gave you 6 months to learn German, would you do it? I said, I might be able to do it. He says, if I gave you $1 billion at the end of that 6 months, if you accomplished it, I said, well, give me 6 months, I'll be speaking fucking German, which I do speak German. But how much is it worth to you to do a little research, to take the time to actually find out and do a little research and understand your rights and the law? Take that time. I'm not trying to, it's not like I don't have patience and I don't want to help people. I've got my hands full just helping my family and friends, and let alone everybody who's been trying to call and have legitimate questions. I don't mean to belittle your questions or anything. I just can't respond. I just can't. Please take the time to do a little research. And each call, I have answered the same question at least 5 times. On every call, somebody will raise the same question 5 different times, and it's always the same answer. Please listen, pay attention. If you miss something, watch the videos from the beginning. Take the time to invest in yourselves. And never, ever give up. Because once you understand the truth, like Adam, you blow me away, Once you understand the truth, there's no stopping you. You will be a force to be reckoned with. And all of you have that ability. All of you have that amount of value. Just take the time. Please take the time. Do your research. Stand your ground. Understand the actual law. Floyd, I'm going to let you close.
Okay, cool. I don't have a question. I just think it's fear. We need to let go of that fear and turn the page and do your thing. That's it. Just let go of the fear.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay. I will let you guys, and I'm sure everybody is watching the case very closely. There will be a small update tomorrow. I'm expecting Heather to give a call either tonight or tomorrow morning. So we will keep you updated on what's going on with Heather and Randall's case. But as I said before, motions have been and documents have been filed to have those indictments dismissed and canceled, and shortly thereafter we'll be able to speak with both of them freely. I will post the next call on my Facebook. I appreciate everybody who's contributed, asked questions, and commented, and I appreciate all of your support. Thank you all for what you do and what you be.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Bob. Thank you for doing all
Thanks,
you
Bob.
do
Thanks,
and
everyone.
for all of us. Truly.
We're all in this together.
Yes, we are.
It's just one boat. One boat here.
All right, everybody.